cover a lot more of that. But I want to turn to something, a story we broke here a couple of weeks ago, right here on the show, Amanda and I, the IRS whistleblower, a respected former supervisory criminal investigator, currently in the IRS, has come forward. He's gotten permission to tell his story to Congress, and he has a very important story to tell. We're very lucky to be joined by one of his lawyers right now, a longtime champion of whistleblowers, going back to the time when he was a great congressional investigator. Later, he was a key player on the Merit Service Protection Board, and today he is the president of the Empower Oversight Whistleblower Center. Joining us now, my good friend, Tristan Leavitt. Tristan, great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. Thrilled to be here.
It is an honor to have you on. You have been such a champion of whistleblowers throughout your career. Now you're representing perhaps one of the most high-profile whistleblowers in a long time. Can you give us a little update on the process? Big vote last week. House accepts your client to come in and do things. Where are we in that process?
So there's, as with my co-counsel Mark Lytle, when he identified, I think on your podcast, just some limits on what he could say. There are some limits, but Chairman Jason Smith has identified that their committee on House Ways and Means is committed to thoroughly hearing these allegations. And so we look forward to a process. We are engaged with both sides of the aisle. And we anticipate that ultimately our client, a very, very courageous and well-respected whistleblower, will be able to share his allegations with Congress.
Very exciting.
Well, and Tristan, I know Chairman Smith questioned Danny Werfel about this IRS commissioner, and the commissioner had an interesting comment to make, and I want to just get your take on the other side, because I don't think that it comports with reality. Maybe check this out.
Just this last week, we received outreach from an IRS whistleblower requesting the committee look into concerns the individual has about allegations of misconduct. So can you commit that there will be no retaliation against that whistleblower?
Mr. Chairman, while I can't comment on a specific case, I can say without any hesitation, there will be no retaliation for anyone making an allegation or a call to a whistleblower hotline.
Tristan, the status and protection of a whistleblower should be sacrosanct, and it seems like Danny Werfel agrees with that in that clip. But is that the case?
Well, the proof's in the pudding, right? If you notice, even in his comment, he specifically said anyone who makes a disclosure to a whistleblower hotline. And the law that protects whistleblowers, going back to the Whistleblower Protection Act of 1989 and before that, is much broader than that. So IRS whistleblowers, just like other Title V employees in the federal government, have protection for a broad variety of disclosures, whether or not they go through the IRS's hotline. Certainly we will be very vigorously watching to ensure that there is no further retaliation of our client. Again, he's doing the right thing for the right reasons, and we're going through the process that is absolutely the way Congress intended it to be followed. And so, we'll be watching closely to see what the IRS does at this stage.
I want to just follow up on that statement, because there was a very important set of words you said, further retaliation. Is there anything that's been done to this point that worries you that maybe this whistleblower has already faced some retaliatory or punitive actions?
Well, I'm not authorized to fully speak about that. What we really want to focus on is the substance of the disclosures that he wants to make. That's the first thing foremost. He's not coming to Congress in order to pursue any personal agenda, and really he's setting aside, any considerations about his own career. So in the course of this, as with any whistleblower, we anticipate that his supervisors are aware of what he's doing. And when you have a situation like that, then it can sometimes have ramifications. So there will be more to come on that in the future. But for right now, we really just want to focus on ensuring that he's able to get in to the relevant committees and be able to share the information that is so significant.
Yeah, the country waits that. That's for sure.
Tristan, what you do in your organization is so important. So I want to just ask you a broader question about whistleblowing, because Think about the story of Abraham talking to God about, saving a nation over one righteous person. And I think that a lot of Americans, they look at their government and they see so much corruption and so much evil, but they feel like if there are just a few righteous people who are willing to step forward and speak out about things, to speak truth to power, to use a phrase that's often very overused, that's something that I think is essential to our way of life in America. And it kind of encapsulates how Americans feel about rooting out that corruption.
I love that you frame it that way, because I have long, as a person of faith myself, it doesn't really come into my work, right? But I think of whistleblowing as an act of conscience. What else would motivate someone to get out of bed and say, you know what, I'm going to do this thing that's going to put my career at risk, that could have lifetime implications. But it really comes from people feeling like something's the right thing to do and they have to do something about it. And so time and time again, my first interactions with John were actually surrounding a whistleblower named John Dodson back with the Operation Fast and Furious investigation 12 years ago now. And he really just, I have been so thoroughly impressed with him. And it really, has put me on a course throughout my career of just wanting to share with everybody I can how important it is to protect whistleblowers. Because if you don't do that, it's like broken windows in New York City, right? If you don't protect whistleblowers over even the small things, how can you expect that someone will come forward with the big major disclosures that the public needs to know? Why would they do that if they see that even for small things, people have their careers ended? So it's so critical that we protect people. And again, the term righteous, I think absolutely applies. And it is very much an act of conscience to blow the whistle.
Yeah, it is. And you work for one of the greatest protectors of whistleblowers that I've ever seen in my career, Senator Charles Grassley. And again, yesterday, there he was again, a new whistleblower, some very serious allegations. The idea that maybe a confidential informant's allegation of wrongdoing against Joe Biden got deep sick somehow in the FBI in the summer of 2020. To see Chuck Grassley, late 80s, doing what he was doing in his early 50s, this is a man that's never given up on whistleblowers, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. He is absolutely a defender of them. And I hope he is around forever, because we need those voices out there speaking on behalf of whistleblowers.
No doubt.
Yeah, Tristan, I wanted to ask you to just peel back the curtain a little, because I think as Americans view the importance of whistleblowers, for people who want to speak out, it seems like a fairly daunting task. Talk to people about your organization and the process of coming to you, receiving those protections, receiving counsel from Empower Oversight, and just what that process is like for people, and how if there's someone watching tonight who has something that they want to say, how do they do that?
Absolutely. So Empower really has come out of the experience of both myself and Jason Foster, who founded Empower. He and I both worked together for Senator Grassley. And so we were in the thick of protecting so many whistleblowers. And really, there are processes in place that have been in place for a long time, but they can be difficult sometimes for people to navigate and to understand. So my background had been to go from there to the House Oversight Committee and then to the Office of Special Counsel, not to be confused with the Mueller Special Counsel, but the Office of Special Counsel that protects whistleblowers. And that is an agency that has jurisdiction over not quite all of, but most of civilian federal employees, excluding those from the FBI, which is significantly where some of our clients come from right now, and not including the Intelligence community. But when people come to us, if they reach out, we have an outreach spot on our website. We work with folks to understand what those allegations are. Now, again, the process that's in place is one that anybody can use. And so Empower really tries to look for specific areas where we can add value. Whistleblowers who might not otherwise be able to get their story out there. Because of our experience in working with Congress, we want to help get that information to the right place. But yeah, when people reach out on our website, we follow up, we try and figure out what the facts are and what's significant there. And again, we have experience in working with the Office of Special Counsel and OSPB to make sure that they are protected.
Tristan, one thing I've known, I've been covering this a long time, that IRS whistleblower, those FBI whistleblowers like Steve Friend, they're in very good hands with you and Jason. You guys do really meaningful work. Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break.